Good morning and welcome back to the channel. Today we are in the book of Luke chapter 9, and we're going to talk about the gift that was given to the 12 disciples from Jesus. So it says in chapter 9 verse 1, "Then he called the 12 disciples together and gave them power and authority over all devils and to cure diseases. And he sent them to preach the kingdom of God and to heal the sick. And he said unto them, Take nothing for your journey, neither staff, nor scrip, neither bread, neither money, neither have 2 coats apiece. And whosoever house ye enter into, there abide, and thence depart. And whosoever will not receive you, when ye go out of that city, shake off the very dust from your feet for a testimony against them. And they departed and went through the towns, preaching the gospel and healing everywhere. Now Herod the Tetrarch heard of all that was done by him, and he was perplexed, because that it was said of some that John was risen from the dead, and of some that Elias had appeared, and of others that one of the old prophets was risen again. And Herod said, John have I beheaded? But who is this of whom I hear such things? And he desired to see him. And the apostles, when they were returned, told him all that they had done. And he took them and went aside privately into a desert place belonging to the city called Bethsaida. I just want to take a moment. It refers to them as apostles in verse 10. And I believe that disciples is like, learning process in his precept. And then, so now they may have graduated to being apostles, actually putting in practice these miracles that Jesus gave them the power to do. In verse 11, and the people, when they knew it, followed him, and he received them and spoke unto them of the kingdom of God, and healed them that had need of healing. And when the day began to wear away, they came, the 12, and said unto him, Send the multitude away, that they may go into the towns and country round about and lodge and get victuals, which would be provisions, food. For we are here in a desert place. But he said unto them, Give ye them to eat. And they said, We have no more but 5 loaves and 2 fishes, except we should go and buy meat for all this people. For they were about 5,000 men. And he said to the disciples, Make them sit down by 50s in a company. So a group of 50, group the people in 50. And they did so. And many them all sit down, and made them all sit down, sorry. Then he took the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes, and looking up to heaven, he blessed them and brake and gave to the disciples to set before the multitude. And they did eat, and were all filled. And there was taken up fragments that remained, them 12 baskets. And it came to pass, as he was alone praying, his disciples were with him, and he asked them, saying, Whom say the people that I am? They answering said, John the Baptist, but some say Elias, and others say that one of the old prophets is risen again. He said unto them, But whom say ye that I am? Peter answering said, The Christ of God. And he straitly charged them and commanded them to tell no man that thing, saying, The Son of Man must suffer many things, and be rejected of the elders and the chief priests and scribes, and be slain, and be raised the third day. And he said to them all, If any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it. But whosoever will lose his life for my sake, the same shall save it. For what is a man advantage if he gain the whole world and lose himself, or be cast away? So let me read that again in a different way. For what is a man benefited if he gain the whole world and is destroyed or lost? For whosoever shall be ashamed of me and of my words, of him shall the Son of Man be ashamed, when he shall come in his own glory, and his own Father's, and the holy angels. But I tell you of a truth, there be some standing here which shall not taste of death, till they see the kingdom of God. And it came to pass, about the 8 days after those sayings, he took Peter and John and James, and went up into a mountain to pray. And as he prayed, the fashion of his countenance was altered, and his raiment was white and glistering. And behold, there talked with him 2 men, which were Moses and Elias. So in 31, who appeared in glory and spoke of his decease, which he should accomplish at Jerusalem. So they talked about his death to come. But Peter and they that were with him were heavy with sleep. And when they were awake, they saw his glory and the 2 men that stood with him. And it came to pass, as they departed from him, Peter said unto Jesus, Master, it is good for us to be here. And let us make 3 tabernacles, one for thee, one for Moses, and one for Elias. Not knowing what he said, while he thus spoke, there came a cloud and overshadowed them, and they feared as they entered into the cloud. And there came a voice out of the cloud saying, This is my beloved Son, hear him. And when the voice was passed, Jesus was found alone, and they kept it close, quiet. They kept it quiet, and told no man in those days any of those things which they had seen. So even the other disciples didn't know about this. And it came to pass that on the next day, when they were come down from the hill, much people met him. And behold, a man of the company cried out, saying, Master, I beseech thee, look upon my son, for he is my only child. And lo, a spirit taketh him, and he suddenly crieth out, and it teareth him, that he foameth again, and bruising him hardly departed from him. And he besought the disciples and to cast him out, and they could not. And Jesus answering said, O faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you and suffer you? Bring thy son hither. So we're going to say that differently. And Jesus answering saying, O unbelieving and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you and bring the son hither? Bear with you, I meant. So in verse 42, and as he was yet a coming, the devil threw him down and tear him. And Jesus rebuked the unclean spirit and healed the child and delivered him again to his father. So, and let's read that again. And he was yet a coming, the demon threw him down and convulsed him. Then Jesus rebuked the unclean spirit and healed the child and delivered him again to his father. And they were all amazed at the mighty power of God. But while they wondered, every one at all things which Jesus did, he said unto his disciples, Let these sayings sink down into your ears, for the Son of Man shall be delivered into the hands of men. But they understood not this saying, and it was hid from them, that they perceived it not. And they feared to ask him of that saying. Then there arose a reasoning among them, which of them should be greatest. So let me stop right there. And I'm gonna get ready to end this. So they didn't ask him, what he meant about that he was gonna be betrayed and everything, and he was gonna be delivered up into the hands of men. And so, because they asked not, they knew not, they didn't understand. And I remember people was like, you're not supposed to question God. I used to hear that saying all the time. But I believe that you ask so that you receive. If you ask not, then you will be just like the disciples at this very point where he's telling them something and they never ask him of what he was saying. And so they did not perceive. And that's what it says here. When he said this, they understood not this saying, and it was hid from them, that they perceived it not. And they feared to ask him of that saying. So when people say, question God, don't question God. Well, I'm questioning. I'm asking. I need to know. I want to know. And is God, whether he wants to, share that with me or not, is his decision. So, but I'm asking. So, with that being said, I hope that you have learned something today. We're still in this chapter, and maybe we can pick up tomorrow and continue on, because there's just a little bit left, and maybe we'll just go ahead and finish the rest of 9 and chapter 10 as well. So I hope that everyone have learned something and continue to be encouraged. Pray and watch and pray without ceasing. Until next time, God bless.